All right. Um, all right, so yeah, I don't think I told you about this, but that's okay. You'll be able to answer.
We'll ride the wave. What's up?
All right, so the next topic, um, do you feel that what are those called? Ultimatums, marriage ultimatums are appropriate in a relationship? And if so, when?
Absolutely not. You cannot
Okay.
force anybody to do anything. Ultimatums will get you singled so fast. Having goals as set goals as a couple, sure. Ultimatums where you specifically got to do something by this specific. It's a manipulative behavior, and people don't want to acknowledge that you're trying to manipulate situations and um, bully people into doing something that ain't it. I don't stand by it.
So, do you think there's a difference in, and I'm sure you might, but is there a difference between someone saying, okay, we've been dating 10 years, I want to get married. If we're not married within the next 3 years, then I need to reevaluate things. Is there a difference in that and somebody pre-dating saying, if we get together, I want to be married within 5 years of dating. If not, this ain't gonna work out.
To me, that so it's all about how you word it. That is so if you have like I said, if you have a goal and you share that goal, sure. The first example you gave, that person said, if we're not married in 3 years, I'm going to have to reevaluate. I'm fine with that because you're now deciding what pretense this relationship means to you. You're not, saying that person's going to have to reevaluate or that person's going to have to. You're saying, I'm just letting you know, me personally, where I stand. If we don't reach a certain milestone, then I'm gonna probably be looking at this a little bit different, and it might result in you know us calling it null and void and moving on. Um, that I think is fine, but like the if we're not married by, if you don't propose by, you're trying to control stuff. Like if you got to
But you
do
don't
all
think
that
that
to a
is similar?
person. No, the difference is in who is responding to the act. So a goal is different than an
Mm.
ultimatum. The ultimatum is making the other person do something. A goal is, here is where I would like us to be. And if we don't get there, I'm going to reevaluate where I stand with this. That's different than you got to do something by a certain time. It's a communication thing. It's different to me, at least.
So if my partner, I don't care what y'all black people say, my partner was like, hey, if we've been dating for 10 years, if we're not married in the next 3 years, I'm leaving. Or her saying, if we're not married in the next 3 years, I gotta reevaluate. Either way, she's talking about what she's going to do. But I feel
Yeah.
like the impact is still on me to be like, not
Yeah, but you're still
forcing
giving that
me.
person a personal choice because that person doesn't have to adhere to it.
But wouldn't that be the same way if they said in 3 years you have to do this? You still giving them a personal choice.
That's why I'm saying you're like I said, it's a language change. If the person's saying
Yeah.
you better propose by blah blah blah, or you're telling that person what to do. Now, if you're saying I would like to be married within the next couple of years, if not, I'm gonna have to. I would like to be. That's the language thing that makes it different because
Okay, I
one
see.
seems manipulative and one is more like, hey, brother, sister, whoever, I don't, hey, this
I
ain't
see what
it.
you said. So
So it's
it's
a
not
it's a language thing.
necessarily it's not necessarily who the action is pressed upon. It's Are you demanding it, or are you having a conversation of like,
Because this is my thing, and I'm going to potentially hurt some feelings. If you get to the point where you got to set ultimatums, y'all asses don't need to be together any damn way. Why are you? You should never have to force the hand of your partner. Let's call a spade a spade. If you got to do all of that, you need to leave. I'm
yeah,
like, as a person in a relationship, if it walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it's a duck. And anything that you allow, they're going to assume that you're going to keep doing it. You have already been walked on, whatever the situation is, and you kept letting that person do it for however many years they're doing it. Why do you expect them to suddenly change? It's going to be a twisted wrist. That person ain't proposed in 10 years y'all been together, and you stayed.
that's fair. That's fair. I think
Y'all got to
it's
do some
just
self-reflecting. That's
I
insane.
I agree with you. I just feel like even if you got what you want, is that the way that you want it? But some people don't care about. That's you cared about the wrong thing, and
Right.
that's you, like you said, not communicating. That's just all bad. That's just all bad because
And it's a twisted arm. Why would you want to be with anybody that you have to beg to do something for you?
that's somebody being more worried about being married or a ceremony or taking pictures than they are actually being with somebody that's an
And let's go
actual.
to the numbers. The people who do a lot of that stuff, they don't even make it past 1 year. They'll spend 10, 15 years together, finally do the I do, walk down the aisle, and they don't even make it a year.
Yeah, I mean, because you
Get
started
out
with
of
a
there.
bad foundation. I feel
Exactly.
like there's definitely a lot of people that feel like that's appropriate behavior, as they say, apply the pressure, and
You can
that's
apply pressure, like I said, you can have goals, but understand it's you setting a group goal needs to be a discussion between you and that person. So it shouldn't even be an ultimatum because it should be something that you guys have mutually agreed upon. We are actively both wanting to buy a home soon. We're actively both wanting to get married soon. We are actively, it can't be one sided. And if it is one sided, that means that you guys are not paralleling well, and you need to be analyzing if this relationship is even viable, and go find somebody who's willing to be who you need them to be. Why are you trying to force somebody into something?
yeah. So my second example, I'm assuming you're okay with, is before becoming an official couple, someone telling you my goal is 3 years after we call it official, I want to be married. Otherwise, I don't want to date you. That's okay.
If that because yeah, you told them what you wanted, and if that person decides to date you, that means they kind of basically agree to the terms. Have an understanding of where you stand, but they're still not obligated to meet it. They just
Mhm.
have a better understanding of what your goal is. You
Yeah.
know, it's up to you to assess whether that person is trying to match that goal with you, or if they were like just nodding and agreeing because they just wanted to get in. You have to be able to assess your partner and whether they're positive or negative for you.
Do you think there's a lack of accountability on people that
Oh,
do
hell
these
yeah. Go ahead, finish
ultimatums?
the question. Absolutely. I have the perfect example. I ain't trying to give out nobody's business, but I knew a couple. There were some ultimatums, right? And they tried to manipulate this ultimatum with religious pretense. You know,
Mm,
you're making me a woman of ill repute because we're sinning by being together.
mm.
You need to honor me and honor God, and marry me. We got to do it the right way, right? And
Yeah.
for a religious person, I absolutely hear that if that's the values and beliefs that you guys are subscribing to for your religion. Absolutely, that concern does mean something, right? If you bring it to the table. All right. However, this person, as they're talking about being honored and being done right by, is talking to people on the side. You got people all through your phone. You done gave somebody an ultimatum to marry you and you're not even committed. Now, how that work?
Mm-hmm.
That let us know that you're, one, manipulating, two, you a lie, three, you're only doing this for a status thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Socially to fit whatever, structure you're in at that moment. But the nerve. But in her mind, she wasn't doing nothing wrong. Right? It's just
Yeah.
talking. We just texting. You know what I'm saying? Sister, are
Okay.
you okay in the head? So you
Yeah.
get to give that brother an ultimatum and make him feel bad, like he got you out here sinning, and you want him to believe in the dream of y'all being a unit and a team player, and you're not even playing as a team player. You are not even doing what's required for him to have faith and trust that you are the person to do that with.
Right.
What sense that make?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think lack of communication and yeah, lack of accountability to feel like um to feel trapped. And what happens, like it happens a lot. You don't, for whatever reason, feel comfortable in voicing what you feel, and then that resentment builds, and then
Right.
it all gets
So
bad.
I'll bring in a situation that's a little bit different because I have seen this quite often too, where the ultimatum is out of bravery. So let's say that these people were like high school sweethearts or something. They've been together since they were young. That person's confidence in the earlier years might have been a little different because they were young minded. And now as
Right.
they're getting older, they're getting wiser, they're realizing like, damn, I would like this to move forward. And they're finally brave enough to say like, babe, we've been together since we were 16. We 28 now. Like, what are we doing? Like, why aren't we establishing ourselves as a unit? And I think so. Like I said, it's very situational. So I would say in a situation like that, it is kind of a ultimatum, but it's also maybe acknowledging that that relationship started in a pretense of that was like a lack of adulthood or understanding, or they're young minded, and so now they finally kind of hitting that golden age where they're starting to plan adult life for real, and they're like, okay, what are we doing?
But I feel like, to your earlier point, that wouldn't, to the way you defined it, wouldn't be a ultimatum if it's presented as, hey, this is a goal, or this is where my mindset is, rather
Hmm.
than a demand, which ultimately is what an ultimatum is.
Right, but I'm saying, what are your feelings about in a situation like that? So I'm saying basically, with bringing up a situation like that, does that person have a right to demand? Okay, because the start of the relationship and the current state of the relationship are in two different brackets of understanding. When there's youth
Hmm.
involved, moving into adulthood, I'm warring with myself if I would allow an ultimatum in that situation, like I
I,
demand you, or I don't know. I don't.
I mean, I
I still
don't.
kind
I
of feel like how
personally
I
don't.
feel, but yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't think that that's necessary in any situation. Kind of like we talked about, a conversation is always fine, but a demand, like, I don't think that's the way to go. If you decide whatever it is, like you said, it could be about a house, it could be about getting a pet, it could be about having a kid. Like, if you decide
Right.
your feelings have moved somewhere else, then you gotta have that convo. I think what happens a lot of times, especially if we're talking about long-term relationships, people get scared of the relationship in it. And to me, if your relationship's going to end on a conversation, it wasn't on good ground to start with. So,
Mm-hmm. Or
so
if your conversation ends up with your grown ass, the woman kneeling down on her knee
all right, bro. I'm
to
not even.
propose,
I'm not even. We could talk
Lord
about
have
that another
mercy.
time.
Woo, that bothers me in a certain type of way.
Propose to that man anyway.
Oh hell.
Uh,
Have you ever felt like you've been given ultimatums in your prior relationships? Have you experienced
ooh,
that?
hold on, man. I'm
I mean, you're
trying to
always
wrap up the
interviewing me.
top.
You always got me chit
I'll be
chatting about
interviewed.
my experiences. What about you?
I just
Have you
asked your thoughts.
experienced?
You be volunteering your experiences.
I'm an open book. I'm an open book. Have you
I ain't
experienced
gotta.
ultimatums?
No. I haven't had that many like real relationships, but I haven't received an ultimatum in that into the way people probably would think of like, hey, you better do this in this timeline, or I never had that. Not really.
Be grateful.
Trying to think. I mean, no, like because my gaps in when they happen are so long, and so the gap, between I think 19 and then by the next time I'm fully grown, like over 24, probably like 27 something. So by that time I know how to communicate,
Right.
and I've been single so long that I would never get into something without talking about the fundamental basics. So I've had some stuff where it's like
Terry's
more
red flag. Get her ass
more
out of here.
I mean, it's more like I don't want you to talk to this person, or no woman is supposed to text you past this time, like stuff
Oh
like that.
God. Yeah.
But all that has been talked about in some form or fashion prior to. But
Yeah.
I've still gotten a not an ultimatum, like it's just more like like you said, it's
Their
more of a
comfort with certain stuff.
no, it's more of a just letting you know. I mean, it might have been a little aggressive, but it wasn't an ultimatum like I'm breaking up with you if you don't stop. It's just more like I don't like that.
Hmm.
And that's when I always go back to as per my last discussion. I'm like, honestly, if I do it all again, we're gonna have to videotape this or something, like get a notarized document, because we're not about to keep going back and forth. But that's what I'm saying. People be so scared because then you get somebody you gotta trust is
Right.
faithfully agreeing to something. And like you said, they might just be saying you nodding their head so they can be in a relationship.
Right. And
And go because
my number one thing, a lot of my friends that are in relationships call me and kind of, because I'm a level headed person, and they kind of, and I always tell them, no matter what situation they're griping about on the phone, you know your limit. I cannot decide. They cannot decide. No one else can decide but you what crosses the line for you and when something is enough for you. So you as the person involved in the relationship have to say whether this is yay, nay, or for yourself. If you communicate with your partner that you don't like something and they're like, whatever the gripes, because one thing I'm not gonna do is rehash stuff that's already been established. Because once you stay after a person kind of tells you, especially when we're like adults, or you watch and you observe how a person is and you kind of know their mode of being, like, and you choose to stay, you're literally basically blankly saying you accept that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't change. I can't change anybody. None of us can change anybody. So if you know somebody does something before you get in a relationship, or you get into the relationship and you realize they might have a habit that irks you or whatever it is, and you choose to stay, like, you chose that, because you could have walked away. You know what I'm saying? You trying to get on somebody's case to change. Now, there are some people, I'm not saying that people can't change, that will pivot for you and say, oh, I didn't know that was bothering you. And they'll be mindful around you and blah, 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 blah. And, compromises and all the different things that people might do to better suit a relationship. But if you find yourself in a situation where somebody is like stone cold, you done told them several things that you don't really get down with, and they keep doing it, and you choose to stay, my girlfriends know, don't call me, because I'm going to tell you, you choosing to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything can be a deal breaker. Like you said, the key word is compromise.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to have the discernment to know what your true deal breakers is. Like now, everything is red flag deal breaker. Everything can't be that. There's something
These people
that
don't even try no more. Somebody sneeze and they be like, I don't like the
if,
color of the snot that came out of his nose. We ain't gonna work. These
and
people
so
don't even try no more.
you got to really know yourself to know your true deal breakers and what you truly can't deal with. Because yes, if that's happening and that was already communicated, then that's on them. But if it's something you didn't communicate, um, and then again, I just think people get to, like, what are we using, ultimatum or however you want to phrase it? People, when you get to a point where you want to communicate with your partner about something that is negative, you need to be ready to answer for yourself. How much, like, can I tolerate that? Like, you be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
being vulnerable. Abrisha, I really don't like when you do this, and this is why. And you say, F you, Terry, I ain't changing. I need to be prepared to say, like, is that something that I'm going to walk out on, or is that something
Right.
that, you know, it is what it is? Now, if it's something that I'm like, Abrisha, I told you 7 years ago, like, then yeah, on me for staying, but you can still stand your ground, but you got to be ready to stand on business, as they say. Like, and I think that's why so many people don't communicate things, because they're scared of the relationship ending, and it's just
hmm
like, what is it built on if
No,
that's
seriously,
all
the
it
fear
took?
of loneliness is so real. Even though like we're in this hyper single esque era now, there was a time where like being single was like so feared and people stayed in relationships. But I think that our generation and the generation under us are scarred because we were the ones who watched the people who stayed too long
Mm-hmm.
dealing with bullshit. We've seen the failed ultimatums and the pretenses and the fights and we saw it within our family dynamics, or whether it's our parents or our aunts or uncles or wherever we observed it. And that's why we are so fickle to even like get into relationships. I
Yeah.
feel like millennials and Gen Zers are like, ew, like the X list is a mile and a half long. Like people are just like so done with other people. But I think that's very sad because there's beauty in partnership. Like, for instance, I had a friend today who's single, and one of the people that she's talking to kind of helped her with like she ended up with like a flat tire, and they kind of took her under their wing and helped her get to the spot to get it, repaired or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And, she was like, that was nice. I'm like, yeah, having a partner, somebody, having somebody to lean on, there's perks. But there's something that's very vulnerable about getting to that moment. And I feel like people, excuse me, are so, people are so guarded to not be hurt or not compromise or not change, or like, I'm just who I am. Like, there's so much of that. There is no vulnerability even into getting into the arena of what it is to have the beauty of meeting the beauty of having a partner or somebody to lean on or somebody to debrief with, at the end of the day. I feel like there's so much negative attention on failed relationships. Sorry.
Yeah, you good.
That there's hardly any attention on like people who are happy. I feel like
Yeah.
it's just like the press, negative news, negative stuff sells. All these dating shows, all these,
Hmm.
shows where we're just seeing people get habitually cheated on and stuff like that. It creates a culture of mistrust and people. I'm not gonna be the fool, you know what I'm saying? So everybody stays single. I wish there were more examples of like the beauty in partnership, and I feel like people would be more willing to be vulnerable and actually give it a try because it's great,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Like I was gonna say earlier, it's pros and cons to both, and some generations have hyper focused on the negative. And yeah, we can talk about that another time. But why I got you here? Uh, you are the perfect person to talk to about this. I done snuck two
What are we
topics
talking
in
about?
here,
Right? Yeah, it's like what are we talking about?
trying to get the content. So I'll set the stage. Um, so I was with the blacks, not not too
The
long ago.
what? The
I was with the blacks,
who?
have one of them secret meetings that everybody, so scared about. So we got together, and somebody had mentioned that they noticed. I forgot how they said it came about, but they noticed that there is a growing sentiment among African people for us to not call ourselves African American. They said, call yourselves Black American.